Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the first home game of the 2021 Cape Elizabeth basketball season. This is our first time doing this, so bear with us. I'm Greg Frame on the mic, and with me is Brian Lee, handling all technical matters. As anyone who knows me knows that I have someone change the font on my computer because I can't do anything, so happy to have Brian here running things. We're going to start out with a brief interview that we did earlier this week with Cape's new coach, Jeff Mitchell. The first half of the interview will be right now. The second half will come to you at halftime. All right, welcome, Coach Mitchell. Thanks for being here. We're going to do a preview or a look at each senior and the new coach this year. So this is our opportunity for the viewers to hear from you about your experience so far and where you came from. You're Cape grad, back home with a family. What interested you about the basketball job to start?
Primarily, I think there was an interest in coaching first. So when I came back, I did dabble in coaching here and there when I was in Massachusetts. But when I moved back to Cape, I really wanted to get back into the program because I enjoy coaching. And I think that coupled with having some young kids that were starting to get into the system, I wanted to get back in some capacity. The first thing I actually did was coach my niece's sixth grade travel team, the Mahoney twins, and enjoyed that. And then the following year, Coach Castorella had an opening with JV girls and an assistant to the girls. And so I took advantage of that. And as luck would have it, 2 years later, the boys' position opened up. So for me, it's the love of coaching and teaching, but also giving back to a program that I've been involved with since I was 6 years old. And so coming full circle with this is pretty neat.
So what would, for folks who, obviously you're new to everyone, what would folks look to or be the hallmarks of a Jeff Mitchell coach team? What are kind of your benchmarks or ethos, so to speak?
I think what I try to teach the kids and continue to teach myself is communication, being a cornerstone of anything that we do. And that's communicating with other players, it's communicating with coaches, it's communicating with refs, communicating with parents. We've worked a lot on and talked a lot so far this year about how to communicate with each other. Positive communication, negative communication. But I think allowing them and giving them an outlet to talk to me about anything, whether it's basketball related, not basketball related, providing some level of transparency with how I feel about how I feel they're doing. So I think communication, being open, being approachable, and trying to problem solve by doing that. I think so much of even in business and in coaching is problem solving, in life too, but it's problem solving. So we run into a problem, how do we solve it? How do we think critically to solve it? And so communication is key. So that's really the foundation of what we're trying to teach these kids.
So this was going to be a different year for Cape Hoops no matter what, with Coach Ray no longer on the sidelines and a new coach, and now you layer on COVID, first year coach with managing the challenges of COVID. How has that been? I'm sure for you and the kids, this is all new, so you're in the same boat as the kids. Explain how you're trying to navigate that with these kids.
There's a number of ways to look at it. I think if we look at it from an emotional standpoint, I think these kids, they were dealt a tough hand, and specifically the senior class with last year and this year. So I think that the start-stop nature of what we've been through so far this season of we're starting, but we're only skills and drills. Now we're stopping. Now we're starting again. It's tough for them to develop a consistent schedule and mindset of playing basketball. I think from what I gather, the kids have done a great job about being. They're excited to play. They're not wallowing in this, and they're really taking advantage of each practice and each game. And every time, I've told the kids this, even during skills and drills that we did for 4 weeks, the energy that they're bringing is incredible. And I'm wondering if that would even be the case in a normal season. I think they're excited to play, they're excited to be with each other, and to have some of that normalcy back. So that's the emotional side. The logistical side is an incredible amount of planning, and a lot of it falls on Jeff Thorak and the Susan Ray and the staff. But something that part is challenging. It's something as simple as how do we get 3 teams, and it's got to be 3 buses, and there's 3 trips, and there's got to be chaperones. It's just an incredible amount of planning. And at some point, you know, I have this conversation with my wife and
stay tuned at halftime for some more of that hard-hitting journalism.
It's a lot.
And
it's a lot of
learn
planning.
A little bit more about Cape's coach,
but you have to keep
Jeff Mitchell. Well, in any given year, longtime Cape Elizabeth coach Jim Ray not being on the sidelines would be the most unusual thing. This year, it's a distant second to the fact that we're playing in masks in an empty facility. Welcome to high school basketball in the time of COVID. Cape basketball has been synonymous with Coach Ray for decades, and now Jeff Mitchell starts to put his own entry in the Cape basketball thesaurus. Jeff Mitchell's an alum and no stranger to Cape basketball. He played here, coached the junior varsity girls, and now takes over. And with no summer basketball, very little practice time, and really no reservoir of prior plays to draw from, the Leviathan effort will be needed tonight to beat the Flyers of Waynflete. Speaking of Leviathans, on the other side, you have Rich Henry coaching Waynflete in his 18th year at Waynflete. It seems like only yesterday, and I guess it's about 2 decades ago, that Rich and I were playing men's league against each other. He was a stellar player at UMaine, and now is a stellar coach. And quite frankly, he still looks like he could lace them up and play. Me, not so much. Waynflete's coming off a very successful 19-2 season that was looking to replace several key departures, not the least of which are Solomon Levy and Dom Campbell, the latter now playing at Phillips Exeter. Through the joys of technology, we've got folks listening in today from California, Minnesota, shout out to my buddy Jack Maker, Nevada, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, and Illinois. And even in the hinterlands of Vermont, happy 55th birthday, Walter Frame up there. These teams played 4 days ago, with Waynflete storming back after some halftime adjustments to beat the Capers 52-45. Cape will be looking to avenge that defeat this afternoon. As we think forward to today's game, the 3 keys on either side. For Cape Elizabeth, it's really to match the toughness of Waynflete without fouling. Waynflete shot twice the number of free throws the Capers did at Waynflete, not due to any poor officiating by any stretch, but by Waynflete being a little bit more aggressive, a little tougher. Second key to the game for Cape seems self-evident, but score more points than the other team. Cape had 0 points off the bench. Waynflete had 15 in that game. The third key for Cape is to contain the big 3. The Celtics had Bird, McHale, and Parrish. Waynflete has Chris Sade, Jared Johnson, and Aiden Kiefer. For Waynflete, those 3 are seniors, by the way. For Waynflete, their keys are to crash the boards and use that size advantage. They need to shadow Will Bovey, who's a tremendous shooter for Cape. And if he gets open looks, you might as well put the 3 points in the book and keep Nate Mullen in front of them. Nate is a super fast senior for Cape, 4-year starter. And Waynflete also, the third key is to continue to be opportunistic on their runouts. They did a real good job of that. Starters for today's game. For Waynflete, they'll start with Jared Johnson, who's a senior, number 33. Number 23, Aiden Kiefer, also a senior. Number 25, senior Chris Sade, also known as the smooth operator. Number 12, Matt 80, who's a sophomore, and a junior guard, number 4, Henry Hart. Capers will be in the home white. We'll start Nathan Mullen, number 3, number 15, Will Bovey, number 11, William Thornton, Number 4, Sam Lombardo, and number 34, Evan Reeves. Capers, again, in the home white, will be going left to right on your screen to start. Waynflete in the road green going right to left on your screen. The officials for tonight's game, or this afternoon's game, are Dale Story and Ken Brilliant. Interesting, I got a chance to catch up with Dale Story before the game. We're lucky to have a good crew here, a veteran crew. He said that between 40 and 50 officials this year have opted out of reffing due to COVID. So it's likely that some nights we'll have some rookie officials, so to speak. That's not the case tonight, as we have Ken Brilliant and Dale Story. Waynflete Cape, for me, has usually been old home week. We get to check in with the 80s and the Coxes and the Conleys. Not today with COVID, but we'll have a chance to check in with all those folks during the course of the action. So sit back and enjoy Cape Waynflete basketball. One of the changes this year, opening tip is decided by a coin toss, although I heard the other day in the Deering game that they did paper, scissors, rock, which I think is a better way to handle it. Evan Reeves for 3. Waynflete being very patient. Henry Hart gets blocked by William Thornton. Nate Mullen looks to set the Capers up. Interesting that Waynflete has Aiden Kiefer guarding Nathan Mullen. Nate is unquestionably Cape's best player, and according to Rich Henry, Aiden Kiefer is Waynflete's best defender. Aiden comes from a long line of good defenders. His uncle, John Conley, was a tremendous player at Morris High, 3 straight state championships, Maine Basketball Hall of Fame last year, and a good friend of mine, one of my teammates at Dartmouth. I played against him in high school and then was lucky enough to be on his team as opposed to against him. John's listening in from Philadelphia. Happy to have you on the call, John. Sade's in the post. Strong move to the basket, 2 points. Sade had an amazing game the other night at Waynflete. He's tough to defend. He's crafty around the hoop. Good hands, big physical kid. Evan Reeves is going to have his hands full with that matchup today. Will Bovey for 3. You cannot give that kid any daylight. Cape looks to be in a matchup press right here, a little 2-2-1 press. Waynflete being very patient. Jared Johnson with the dribble drive. Misses. Evan Reeves, rebounds the ball. Reeves with a step back. Will Thornton had the 3, thought better of it. We had a chance to interview Will yesterday, and he said his goal this year was to make a 3, but thought better of it on that occasion. Nice dribble drive by Sam Lombardo. Waynflete brings it up. Sade blocked by Reeves. Retrieves the ball. 2 points to Sade. Cape up 5-2. Although the scoreboard doesn't reflect that. Excuse me, Cape up 4-3. Cape down 4-3. Got a little scoreboard issue. Hart being pressured by Nate Mullen, looking for a 5 count here. Cape foul on number 3, Nathan Mullen. Waynflete had a little bit of a disadvantage this game. They had a really good-looking young freshman, Nico Kirby, who played very well in the first game. He's not available today, so Waynflete's going to be looking to fill that void. And one of the guys that they thought was going to fill that void, Coach Henry talked about this morning, was Cole Isherwood, who enters the game, number 14. Cape picks up its second quick foul early. That's Will Thornton. Will and Evan Reeves fouled out on Tuesday, so hoping to keep those guys who are really keys to our success in the game. Entering the game for Cape, number 20, senior Dylan Swift replaces Sam Lombardo. Sade again, just taking it at the Capers. That's his 6th point. And Nathan Mullen doing what he does best. Nathan's right-handed, but predominantly goes to the left on his dribble drives. And despite playing for 4 years, I don't think a single coach has figured out that Nate is really strong going to the left. The rebound for Reeves. You may have noticed my stunned silence. Will Bovey passed up an open 3, which he should not be doing. He's the best shooter on the Cape team. He's just amazing, and anytime he gets any daylight, Will usually lets it go. So I was surprised by that. He's just a tremendous, tremendous shooter. One of my favorite lines with Will Bovey when he was younger, we ran a little offense where Will would catch the ball with some cutting and passing and catch the ball at the foul line, and he'd get open foul line jumper every time and make it. And the running joke was I'd yell on the court, Will, you get tired of making those shots? And he'd say, absolutely not, Coach, every time. He's a lights-out shooter. Great rebound by Evan Reeves. And a ticky-tack foul by Jared Johnson, 90 feet from the basket. That's not going to make Coach Henry very happy. Looks like Waynflete's setting up, looks to me like a diamond-type pressure here, or a 1-3-1 pressure. I wonder if they're going to look to trap as it crosses half court. Yep, staying in the 1-3-1 is that skip pass, which is always open in the 1-3-1. One 1-3-1 is probably a very good defense for Waynflete with their length. Kiefer for 3. Cape Elizabeth coach Jeff Mitchell calls a timeout. So a little bit of a pitcher's duel here with Waynflete up 6-5, 6 minutes into the game. Shout out to some of the people watching from afar, from Tampa, Florida, Jackson Lamar, up in Augusta, Nana and Pop Up Frame. Nathan Mullen's grandparents watching down in Southold, Long Island, my old stomping grounds, Ed and Sandy Graham. And of course, it wouldn't be a Cape basketball game without superfan Steve Bates, who's not in the stands but is watching from home. I got an email from Steve early this morning saying, how can I watch the game? I don't think Steve has missed a Cape game. And as you look behind the Cape bench, you'll see a number of fans virtually in the stands. And we'll get to some of those folks later. So after a timeout, Cape will enter the ball. Looks like Waynflete's going to stay in that 1-3-1 setup right now. The 1-3-1, the key really is to get the ball into the corners and throw that skip pass where you can get some great action. So let's see what Cape does with this. Dylan Swift with the dribble drive. Unfortunate. Cape will be looking for some scoring from Dylan off the bench. Dylan's a very good shooter, and they definitely need some bench support. Waynflete now looks to be in a 2-3 zone. Bovey with an open look. Good luck, we'll take that every time we get it. Sade with another rebound. He must be working his way towards a double-double today. He's a strong, strong player. Again, Sade, that's going to be a troublesome matchup for Cape. Waynflete again in the 1-3-1. Waynflete's taking an 8-5 lead. Mullen tries to split the defense. A foul call on number 23, Aiden Kiefer. Aiden's grandparents, Mike and Thorne Conley, watching from Florida. Sports has some strange bedfellows. I think my parents and the Conleys cheered against each other in high school for years, and then when John and I went to Dartmouth together, they were cheering for the Big Green. So I still love seeing Mr. and Mrs. Conley at the Waynflete game. So hello to them down in Florida. Great look by Nathan Mullen. That little pass to the empty corner. Cape turnover. Entering the game for Cape, number 4, Sam Lombardo, replacing Dylan Swift. Dylan's got 6 grandparents watching this game. Cheryl and John Swift, Leslie and Cliff Siskin, and Claire and Paul Adams. So hello to you guys down in New York and also in Maine. See if Waynflete, with 34 seconds left, waits for a last shot. Looks like 10 seconds on the clock. So Waynflete will enter on the baseline, 6 seconds left. Leading 8-5. Interior pass to Verno. Fouls on number 33, Antonio Dell'Aquila, his second. Entering the game for Cape, Marcus Wagner. Verno gets it out. Disherwood for 3. Bank shot, got to call that. Despite not calling it, it still counts. 11-5 Waynflete after 1. As we mentioned, Marcus Wagner just entered the game. Marcus's grandmother, Marlene Bailey, watching us from Chicago, Illinois. So the keys earlier in the game, keeping the big 3 off the board, matching their aggressiveness. I don't have official stats, but I got to think that Chris Sade has got 8 of Waynflete's 11 points. They've got to figure out a way to contain him. And on the flip side of the coin, you're not going to win many games scoring 5 points in a quarter, so Cape's going to have to look to score some points here. It'll be Waynflete's ball to start the second quarter, going right to left on your screen. On the court, interestingly enough, are two names synonymous with both programs. On the Waynflete side, number 30, Mike Varano, and the Varano name is as synonymous with Waynflete hoops as the Bovey name, Will Bovey, is synonymous with Cape hoops. I think there's 7 Varanos. I might be wrong with the numbering, but I think 6 or 7 who played basketball for Waynflete, boys and girls. And there are 6 Boveys who played basketball for Cape. I don't know where Mike Varano falls on the pecking order in the family. Will Bovey's the youngest of 6. Waynflete turnover, nice dribble drive. A little bit of a body. Good defense by Will Bovey. Cape has made a switch, putting William Thornton on Sade, and that could be a very good switch. Will Thornton is an incredibly physical and strong player, and if he can stay out of foul trouble, he is a great matchup against Sade because he can match his toughness, his strength, and his energy. Foul on Will Thornton. I think that's his first. Excuse me, that's his third. If the scoreboard's right, the Cape should be making a substitution here for Will Thornton, but maybe they're keeping him in with his third foul. I'm not sure if that's if the scoreboard's accurate or not. I would think not. Great hustle play by William Thornton. The William Thornton you see now out there, number 11, is the same William Thornton that we saw in 4th grade and 5th grade and 6th grade. That kid has a motor that does not stop. He's fun to watch. Waynflete calls a timeout here. So with 6 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter, Cape is down 11-5. They've got to figure out a way out of this scoring quagmire. 5 points I think they had 2 or 3 minutes into the game. This is a long stretch to go without scoring, so hopefully Coach Mitchell is drawing something up here that will lead to some points for the Capers. Back in the game for Waynflete is Aiden Kiefer. Quick shout out to his mother, Susan Conley, who's written one of the best books I've read this year, maybe the best book I've read this year, Landslide. She's an amazing author, and I commend that to your attention. As I was reading, Waynflete had a good opportunity at the basket. Johnson missed the bunny, but Waynflete retains the ball. Again, the book is Landslide by Susan Conley. Tells you a lot about being a parent, trying not to screw up your kids in Maine, relationships, wonderful read. Great defense by Nathan Mullen there on Kiefer. Caper's looking to put some points on the scoreboard. Evan Reeves misses the bunny, so Cape and Waynflete missed a couple easy shots back to back. Johnson for a three. Not sure that's in his arsenal, but I would say for Cape, if they can have Waynflete's big men shooting threes, that's probably to their advantage. Cape getting no second chance points as Sade and Johnson and Kiefer manning the boards. Well, at this point, FanDuel says that the first team to 30 is going to win, so we'll see what happens. Cape. Oh, foul on. I thought that Cape foul was on Cape. That foul was on Waynflete. Cape will be looking to avoid a foul. One more, and they're in the bonus, and that certainly was the bane of their existence at Waynflete. Waynflete got in the bonus early and then was very opportunistic on his free throws. Waynflete back in the 1-3-1. Usually you look to trap as soon as they get over half court, but Cape does a good job. Let's look for that skip pass here from Lombardo. There it is to the corner. Will Bovey should fire that. Great shot. Will Bovey, 3 points. That's good basketball. You throw that corner to wing pass, and you have a quick pass down to the baseline. That shot is always open against a 1-3-1. Great look by Johnson. Sade must be in double digits at this point. Waynflete will stay in that 1-3-1, and Cape hopefully will look to do the same thing. Well, no one's at the skip pass site for Cape. Will Bovey, another good look. Sade, yet another rebound. (13-8) Waynflete halfway through the second quarter. Stay tuned at halftime. We'll have the rest of our interview with Coach Mitchell. I'd like to tell you we'd have halftime stats, but we're not that sophisticated. Nathan Mullen with an open three. Looks like a foul on Johnson for Waynflete. Evan Reeves, a good 4-hole move there. 2 points. 13-10 Waynflete. Reeves spent a lot of time at the first Waynflete game on the perimeter, and it's good to see him inside using his height and his good hands and footwork around the basket. Cape back in his traditional man-to-man. Johnson's been subbed out for Waynflete. I don't know. Oh, no, excuse me. He's still in the game. So he's got 2 fouls, though, so we'd like to see Cape take it at him. Waynflete patiently moving the ball. While their backcourt is young, their front court is seniors, and you can tell by the way they play, they're pretty comfortable. Kiefer with an open look. You do not want to give him that. Flashbacks to me having to guard his uncle John Conley in practice, and John shooting threes in my eye. Aiden Kiefer is a 3-and-D guy, one of the best defenders according to Rich Henry, and their best three-point shooter, and that is John Conley to a T. Great cut by Nathan Mullen, great feed. Caper's on a little bit of a scoring tear here with 2 baskets in a row. 15-12 Waynflete. 2.5 minutes left. Cape has made an adjustment to double Sade whenever he gets the ball. That's a wise move because that guy has been killing us. They look to be digging in the post anytime Sade gets it. Jump ball, good aggressive play by William Thornton. Capers retain the ball. Entering the game, Matt 80, and entering the game also, Marcus Wagner. I usually look forward to the Waynflete games. I get to check in with Greg and Lauren 80. Unfortunately, can't today, but happy to have them watching the game. Also nice to have their parents, Sam and Judy Parkhill, watching their grandson, Matt, play today. Henry Hart, tries a long pass. Sam Lombardo with the steal. I tell kids, anytime you have to wind up to make a pass, you might not want to make that, and that Hart definitely did that. It was an easy steal for Sam Lombardo, who's quick and opportunistic. Nice move by Evan Reeves. Looks to be Cape makes a sub. Entering the game is Dylan Swift. So with 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the first half, it's Waynflete 15, Cape 12. Cape in a little bit of 2-2-1 pressure here, just to slow things down a bit. 80 makes a good dribble drive. 2 points for him. He was a JV player last year. Coach Henry has been very impressed with his play in the preseason and starting now. Had a little bit of a rough game against Cape the first game, but that's a nice move, and I think that's Waynflete's happy to have him at full strength today and playing well. Another Cape turnover, and it's 17-12 Waynflete as Chris Cloutier enters the game to replace Will Bovey. Cape now looks to be going man-to-man pressure. Oh, they're in a little bit of zone pressure. And 80 again looking to go back-to-back on baskets. We'll go to the line for 2 free throws. I believe this will be Waynflete's. They shot a number of free throws. I'm not sure. Brian, has Cape shot a free throw yet this game? I don't believe so. Again, just a sign of the aggressiveness of either team. Waynflete, bigger, stronger, taking it to the basket. And 80 gets the first, misses the second, but a violation on Cape. So he'll get a mulligan. Well, errors like that are costly. Cape down 19-12 with 27 seconds left, 24 seconds left in the first half. Cape will be looking for the last shot here. Mullen sets it up. They usually go a 1-4 set here, but I think looking to get Swift for an open 3 here, and there it is. So at the half, Waynflete 19, Cape 12. We will go right now. We'll have the second part of our interview with Coach Mitchell when I get the go-ahead from our trusty IT staff. So much of basketball, and I think sports, and I think wrongly, is success is measured by wins and losses solely, or by how far we got. Did we get to the Expo? Did we get to the Civic Center? This is a different year, so we've all had to define success maybe a little differently. When you look back, it's hard to be probably retrospective now, but when you think about looking back at the end of the year, how will you define success for this year?
Yeah, really good question and really tough to answer. And I think some of the kids will have individual and different thoughts about that. We talked about last week in practice. We talked about just that. What are we playing for? And developing a mindset where we're staying motivated. Obviously, we want to win games. I think the kids want to win games. We're practicing and playing to win games. So, we want to win every game that we play. I think prior to that, we want to get through this season in a safe format where we're actually getting through the season, playing 11 games. But I think it's hard to define what is success. I think these kids, if we can get through the season healthy, happy, and stay motivated, and approach each game like it's a state championship, then I think we'll be in a good spot. But I also think it's these kids do have to, especially for the seniors, because there aren't playoffs. It might be tough for them to have some closure with this season, but that's something we continue to talk about.
So what's the one thing that most people would be surprised to know about you?
There's a lot of things. Trying to pinpoint one. Anecdotally or just in general?
Sure. Dealer's choice.
A couple things. I'm a huge history buff. Love history. Which actually, I love history of all things. So we're talking Revolutionary War, or we're talking history of Cape basketball. I really love history and appreciate history. But so history buff. I was once coached by Doc Rivers. Nice. Interesting story. When I was living in Boston, we did a fundraiser tournament and got to go in the Garden and play 5v5 on the Garden floor. And Doc came out and coached our squad for 10 minutes. Nice. But very, very, very great guy. But that was a fun time.
That's two, so that's fine.
That's two, yeah.
Yeah. So speed round, then we're done, Coach. Favorite NBA player? You got one word association here. Favorite NBA player? All time.
I gotta go.
You can say Larry.
Yeah, I gotta go Larry. My heart says Larry, but my modeled my game after Michael, but Larry.
Favorite teacher of anything? High school, college.
Yeah. I had a lot. I do. John Casey was the old Cape Elizabeth basketball coach. Was a favorite teacher of mine, and I still see John all the time when I walk my dog in Shore Acres. And speaking about Cape basketball history, some of my favorite conversations are with him talking about just players of yesteryear and all sorts of stuff. But he was a great teacher and still a really good mentor for me.
Okay, fill in the blank. One word. This year's team is?
Energized.
My hero is?
My parents.
And I've got one day where I'm sick as a dog. I'm going to binge watch.
March Madness highlights.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck with the season. We'll be cheering you along.
Thank you.
So Will Thorne's got cousins, relatives where? Who are watching? What states?
Connecticut and Maryland.
What is Maryland? Connecticut's a nutmeg state. What's Maryland? Yeah. Tell me when we're done and I'm live. I'm on. My mic's on. All right, welcome back. It's 19-12 at the half. Waynflete will be going left to right on your screen when we start. Cape will be going right to left. Let's take a look at the first half keys to the game. See how we're doing for both teams. For Cape, the keys were to match the toughness without fouling. That's been a little bit of a challenge. Sade has had his way with Cape, although later in the half there seemed to be a change where William Thornton was moved on to him and somewhat neutralized him. But then of course that left Kiefer open, so that's a struggle. Second key for Cape was to score more points than the other team. And they have 12 points at the half and 0 points from the bench, I believe, which was the challenge in the first game. Cape is, last year a bit of a struggle was finding a third leg to that stool of Will Bovey and Nathan Mullen being two legs of the stool and a third kind of consistent scorer. Good teams are going to know to not let Bovey get open looks and to try as best they can to contain Nathan Mullen. So Cape will be looking for someone to step up in the second half. Third key for Cape was to contain the big three, and that is easier said than done. Sade, again, had his way in the first half. Kiefer hit an open three, and Johnson, while missing some easy baskets, did a good job on the boards. I would be surprised if Cape didn't have a double-digit deficit in rebounds. For Waynflete, their keys were crashing the boards, and I think they did a good job as reflected by the score. Shadow Bovey and keep Nathan Mullen in front. Nathan Mullen got to the basket a couple times. I'm not sure Waynflete did as good a job on that as they'd hoped. They did a decent job on shadowing Will Bovey, although Will had several open looks he passed up, and I suspect that one of the halftime adjustments will be saying, Will, if you touch it and you see daylight, let it fly. And Waynflete continued to be opportunistic on runouts. They didn't do much of that in the first half. They were, in fact, quite patient. The senior team, even though they're the new backcourt, and they seem to be very comfortable with Cape's pressure. I would suspect that Cape would be looking to change some things up here defensively to maybe increase the pace. We'll see. Waynflete went to the 1-3-1 at times, but it wasn't very successful. I think Cape had I hesitate to call it a run when you score two baskets in a row, but Cape had a run when Waynflete went to that 1-3-1 where they did some nice passing. A skip pass in basketballs, you throw it across the court, you're skipping across the court, and against the 1-3-1, you want to get the ball to the corner and then really throw a skip diagonal, so throw it to the opposite side diagonal. That flattens the defense out a little bit, and then you've got really 2-on-1 action. Cape will start the second half with the same starters they had at the beginning. Sam Lombardo, Nathan Mullen, William Thornton, who's got some relatives from the nutmeg state, I think, of Connecticut, and I forget what Maryland is, but watching. Evan Reeves and Will Bovey, whose grandparents are watching out in Arizona. Hi, Ted. And on the Waynflete side, Henry Hart, Aiden Kiefer, Jared Johnson, Matt Adey, and Chris Sade. Oh, smart play by William Thornton, tapping off the guy out of bounds. That was a set play by Waynflete. They cleared out. I'm not sure you want to clear out and go against Nathan Mullen. Nathan's a fine defender. Waynflete back in that 2-2-1 pressure. It doesn't look like they're trying to trap much out of it, but more just slow things down. Will Bovey gets trapped. and then commits a foul on Chris Sade. Cape looks to be setting up again in a 2-2-1 pressure. Nathan Mullen and William Thornton up front. Will Bovey manning the back line, and Evan Reeves and Sam Lombardo. There's that skip pass, an open look to 80. Evan Reeves with a three-pointer. Hart with a three. He's a very good shooter. Coach Rich Henry says that Hart and Hayden Keefe are the two best three-point shooters on their team. Nice move by Nathan Mullen. And one. Nathan Mullen again, dribble drive to the left. I've not seen a team sit on his left hand, and that's the Cape's advantage. I think the coaches scout and go, Nathan Mullen's right-handed, but you watch him play, and he is so effective going to the left on his dribble drives. Looking to convert the traditional three-point play with his four-tap free throw routine. This year maybe he's going Diet Coke version. I think it was 3 taps. Last year was 4. It was hypnotic. Cape getting Waynflete right where they want him. And Cape Elizabeth bails them out. You want to trap at that half court because you've got 4 defenders. You got the 2 defenders trapping. You've got half court. You can't cross over half court, so it's equivalent of another defender. And you've got the sideline, which is the equivalent of another defender. So the last thing you want to do in that situation is foul someone. They had Johnson in jail. (19-15). Waynflete. Great defense by Nathan Mullen. I think Nathan was looking to draw the foul there instead of putting it in. Hart with a nice little pull-up jumper. Lost art of shooting that 15-footer. Everyone's in love with the three-point line and the dunk. Henry Hart going old school with a 15-foot shot. That's a charge. Sade in perfect position. From up here, you could see that coming in slow motion. Good aggressive play by Evan Reeves, but he was definitely in position. I'd like to see Evan going to the basket, though. We'll take that. We call that an error of commission and not omission. He's trying to get something done as opposed to not doing something. So coaches love to see a guy go hard to the basket, even if it results in a charge, if it shows some aggression. Good post feed by Hart. Johnson looking for a foul there. Evan Reeves seems to be laboring coming up the court. I don't know if he's hurt or tired or what. Looks like Antonio Dell'Aquila will be subbing in for him. Good dribble drive by Sam Lombardo. Sade coming over. Dell'Aquila comes in for Evan Reeves. Cape setting it up. Waynflete appears to be in a 2-3, although, yep, in a 2-3 zone. Cape has got to find some open gaps in this zone and hit some shots here. Traditional 2-3, you've got to find a gap, dribble into the gap, and then find your shooters. There it is. Sam Lombardo with an open 3. Good. Sade in the post. Oh, Johnson, good move to the hoop. finishes looking for the traditional three-point play. They hit Sade in the post, and I thought he was going to do his traditional posting and toasting move, but instead he found Johnson, who had a nice dribble drive and a floater, and William Thornton picks up his fourth, and that is not good news for the Capers. Waynflete goes ahead 24-18, and Evan Reeves' stint on the bench is not long, as he's coming back in, presumably for William Thornton, who's going to have to take a little bit of a breather with 4 fouls. Waynflete back in a man-to-man. Good dribble drive by Sam Lombardo. Will Bovey, great kick by Sam Lombardo. Will Bovey is not going to miss that three, folks. He is a lights out shooter. You give him daylight, and it is trouble. Good cross pass by, I think Sade was trying to pass that to Johnson. Instead, it's a missed shot attempt. Antonio Dell'Aquila with a move to the basket and 2 points. And that I believe, folks, is Cape's first bench scoring of the season with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter of the second game. So that's good to see. Cape looking to tie it up at 24-24. No such luck. Waynflete retains the lead, 1 point lead, but Cape being more aggressive, and it's resulting in more points on the scoreboard. Dell'Aquila with a great steal. Dell'Aquila taketh and giveth away. Sade, another good move, good defense inside by Will Bovey. Nathan Mullen, dribble drive. I'm not sure of that call, but as a unbiased viewer, we'll take it. Or as a biased viewer, excuse me. Journalistic integrity goes out the door when the Capers are playing. Looked like Nathan Mullen threw that up. No one touched it. And Cape got a get out of jail free card. We will take those. Down 1 with 2.5 to go in the third quarter. Waynflete again in the 2-3. Cape's got to look to get some open three-pointers or get in the post just like that. Now kick it out to an open look. Good basketball there. Nice rebound by Will Bovey. Well, we said earlier, perhaps tongue-in-cheek, that the first team to 40 wins. That might be accurate today. In and out. Good hustle inside by Cape and Waynflete. Waynflete subs in. Mike Verano replaces Aiden Kiefer. Cape passing around the perimeter. And Dylan Swift with a three-pointer. Cape takes a 26-24 lead. Good hustle by Dylan Swift. Waynflete has gone as cold as the winters in Madison, Wisconsin, where Finn Bovey and Allie Bovey are watching this game. And as soon as I mention the Bovey name, Will gets an inopportune moving screen. We'll blame that on Finn and Allie. Good block by Evan Reeves. Waynflete calls a timeout. Second half, Cape has done an admirable job on the boards. Has also looked to pierce that zone of Waynflete and get some open looks. And got a little bit of a spark off the bench from Dylan Swift and Antonio Dell'Aquila. Rich Henry on the Waynflete side will be looking to make some adjustments. Waynflete definitely looks to be missing Nico Kirby. He very, very quick, good-looking freshman. Shout out to some other folks who are watching us. Mary Horsley out in Nevada. Bev Lister. Cape's own Aiden Lee down in Florida. Cape's youngest fan, Sutton Callahan up in Belgrade. Cape will enter the ball, Waynflete will enter the ball into their own basket. Johnson missing two relatively easy shots. Cape dodged the bullet there. Waynflete ran a little out of bounds play with a loop to an alley-oop. Cape did not defend it well, but dodged a bullet with Johnson missing two easy shots inside. He's a very good player. I don't think we can hope that that will happen consistently. Nathan Mullen, sounds like Groundhog Day, goes to his left. Nice layup. He is a strong, strong finisher around the basket. Waynflete really struggling with Cape's pressure. They've gone away from what they do well, which is get the ball inside. So with 10 seconds left, Cape's going to look to get a last shot here and go into the fourth quarter with at least a 4-point lead. Nathan Mullen, long range three. Boom! Cape 31-24 at the end of three, with Nathan Mullen just cool as the other side of the pillow coming down, and boom goes the dynamite. I looked over at the Waynflete bench, and my buddy Rich Henry had his head down, scratching his hair. I think he's struggling to figure out how they can both attack Cape's zone and then go where their bread is buttered, which is clearly Sade, Johnson, and Kiefer. Cape will start the fourth quarter with Dylan Swift, Will Bovey, Nathan Mullen, Antonio Dell'Aquila, and Evan Reeves. Waynflete will come back with their, what appears to be their starters. No, Aiden Kiefer, Henry Hart, Jared Johnson, Chris Sade, and Verno is in. So they are, Waynflete is going with a very, very big lineup. Good dribble drive by Kiefer. Pass out to Hart. Long rebound. When you shoot threes, you've got to do a real good job of boxing out because there's going to be long rebounds. Waynflete misses another easy basket. And Johnson says, not again. Cape with a 5-point lead. Cape had a couple good looks at the basket. Boy, I tell you, I like Hart, number 4 for Waynflete. He's new to the varsity this year, I think, just a junior, but he does a good job. He seems to be pretty unflappable. I heard from my friend Dave Cox that Hart comes from a long line of Waynflete Hoopers. His mother was a point guard at Waynflete, and he's following in her footsteps. Johnson with 2 more points. And Coach Mitchell, perhaps sensing this lead being a little bit fleeting, says, I'm not leaving William Thornton on the bench for too long. We need his toughness. We need his aggression. And he'll be coming in. Reeves got away with a travel there and takes it strong to the hoop. We'd love to see that. Evan was content in the first game to shoot threes, and he made a couple, which was great, but he is really strong going to the basket. And I think Cape's a better team when he's taking it strong to the hoop. Kiefer fires a 3, misses it, but there's Sade rebounding yet again. Cape is up 33-30, 5 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Dylan Swift, open look. We'll take that look anytime from him. He's a fantastic shooter. Got a chance to talk with him yesterday. Dylan will be featured on next Saturday in our halftime feature. This Tuesday, Cape has a game against Deering at home. This is the first of 4 home games in a row. So Cape plays Deering, which is a fantastic, one of the blessings of COVID. There are a few of them, is the ability to play some inter-class matchups. And Cape will play Deering. Cape's never played Deering in my lifetime. So they'll play on Tuesday, and we'll feature Nate Mullen at halftime with an interview with him. Rich Henry certainly got through to his team that we need to get the ball inside, and they've been doing that. Sade and Kiefer, very strong players, and Johnson, and they're getting the ball into them. Substitutions, Evan Reeves comes out, and Mike Verno comes out, entering the game for Cape, William Thornton, and entering the game for Waynflete, Matt 80. Cape dodges a bullet there with Johnson missing both free throws. Three-pointer for Nathan Mullen. I don't know, Sade has to have 15 rebounds. He's the Windex man, cleaning the glass. Great move by Nathan Mullen. Interestingly, Nathan made that move, and I heard Rich Henry say, stay on his left, and Nathan Mullen, perhaps hearing that, went to his right hand in a strong move to the basket. Mullen will be going to the free throw line for 2, hoping to push Cape Elizabeth's lead to 5 points. Entering the game for Cape, Sam Lombardo, replacing Dylan Swift. So just about halfway through the fourth quarter, Cape has a 4-point lead. If I'm Waynflete, I'm looking to do a little high-low action between Sade and Johnson, or Sade and Kiefer. Oh, strong move by Kiefer. Looked like he got a little bit of business there, but no call. We'll take it. Nathan Mullen dribble drive. William Thornton with the putback. Cape takes a 6-point lead with 3.5 left. All right, Cape's got 4 to be the first team to 40. Kiefer, open 3. Johnson with the rebound. Scores it. The referees are communicating. I don't know what they're communicating about. I'm hoping this foul isn't on William Thornton. That would be his 5th. Yep, the foul was on. Well, they're not telling us who the foul's on, so it's William Thornton's 5th. I thought it was in the scorebook a little bit. Well, it's Jeremy Lombardo over there, so we'll give him a free pass. He does a lot for Cape basketball. So William Thornton fouls out. Entering the game, Marcus Wagner. And if there's anyone on the Cape team that can match William Thornton's aggressiveness and toughness, it's Marcus Wagner. This guy's a junkyard dog. I've coached him for 6 years. He'll do all the dirty work. He doesn't care about getting any credit. A great teammate, a fantastic teammate. Seems to be some confusion on the court. Johnson will miss 2 free throws his last time up. He's hoping to get Waynflete within 3. And he does. 3-point game, 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. Cape content to play a little keep away here. Oh, bad pass, got away with it. Cape has been a little bit loose with the passing here, and Waynflete certainly taking advantage of it. Waynflete gets it into Johnson again. Ill-advised shot by 80. And entering the game for Cape Elizabeth, Dylan Swift replacing Marcus Wagner. So we've got 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. Cape is up 3 points with the ball. Jeff Mitchell maybe drawing up a little game of keep away here. Some of the older folks in the listening will remember Dean Smith and his 4 corners. Just Phil Ford and Jimmy Black and those guys dribbling around. The other team's trying to chase. And Cape's in a good position with something like that because Nathan Mullen, he is one fast player and strong with the ball. Then if you folks remember the old Harlem Globetrotters, he's Cape's version of Curly Neal. Dribbling in and out and around people. Just a joy to watch. On the other side, Rich Henry, you got to think they're going to do a little bit of trapping here, a little bit of 3/4 court, and try and get Cape in those bad situations, right over midcourt, the trapping areas. If I was Cape, I'd put Evan Reeves right in the middle of the court. He's a big, big, big target. You get him the ball, you have a layup line at the other end. And that's exactly what looks like they're doing. So here we go. There it is, Evan Reeves in the middle of the court. Just what you want. And Dylan Swift, 2 points. Fantastic execution. He got the ball to Evan Reeves in the middle of the court, kicked it to a shooter. And you know what shooters do best? They shoot. And that's what Dylan Swift did. Ooh, Hart got away with a little happy feet there. You don't want to give Kiefer this open look. Oh, Cape with a 5-point lead, 1:52 to go. Waynflete has 3 fouls, so they have 3 fouls to give. If I was them, I'd be super aggressive here for steals. Otherwise, they are not going to get Cape in the bonus, and Cape can just play keep away. So they should be going for steals, and don't worry about getting a foul because they're not in the bonus yet. Boy, they're losing an opportunity here. Down 5. If I was Waynflete on that possession, I would have been super aggressive, look for the steal. If you get a foul, it's not a big deal. You've got 3 fouls to give. Now, as they get later in the game, there's only 1:10 left. They try and foul to put the other team on the line. Cape's going to get the ball back. Cape's just going to get the ball back because there's no bonus situation. Inside to Sade. Strong move again. And Waynflete within 3 with 59 seconds to go. Yep. Reeves got away with the travel there. We'll take it, 2 points. Isherwood for 3. Johnson with a circus shot. And Waynflete cuts the lead 40-37. So here's the reset, folks. Cape Elizabeth with the ball, up 3 with 31 seconds. Waynflete squandered an opportunity that 2 possessions ago in last possession to be super aggressive defensively. Waynflete now is going to have to go for steals. The challenge is, though, they go for a steal and they don't get it and they foul. Cape just gets the ball back. And they do it again, and Cape just gets the ball back. And they do it again, and Cape just gets the ball back. The 4th time they do it, they'll put Cape on the foul line and maybe get a chance to get the ball back, but that's going to be too late. So it's one of those double-edged swords where Waynflete's play without fouling, which you want to do, but this late in the game and down, you kind of want to be able to put the other team on the foul line and put some pressure on them, and Waynflete will not have the opportunity to do that because they only have 3 fouls. So things are looking good for Cape to come out of this with a W. I hope I didn't just jinx us. Sam Lombardo will enter the ball, inbound the ball. Waynflete doubling up on See, now that's only the 4th foul, though. So it took Waynflete 10.1 seconds to get 1 foul. They're still 3 fouls away from the bonus. They needed to foul immediately. Well, they needed to foul 2 minutes ago, but they definitely needed to foul immediately. So Cape will inbound the ball. There's another foul. Another second goes off the clock. Waynflete's still away from the bonus. Waynflete will do that one more time, and then they'll do it again and hope that Cape misses their free throws. And this is 17.3 seconds left on the clock. Cape up 3. And oh, by the way, we said earlier, first team to 40 wins. Cape has 40 points and Waynflete has 37. Maine High School basketball in 2021, 40 points wins. Quick foul, and the clock's still going. And if I'm Rich Henry, I'm asking about that clock. That foul was immediate. Foul was at 16.6, and the clock, it now says 14.7. I'm not above a little home cooking, folks, so I'm fine with that. Dylan Swift at the line. Makes it a 4-point game. Cape calls a timeout here. My sense is that Jeff Mitchell's telling these guys, Do not foul a three-point shooter. Give up a 2. Give up a 3. Don't foul. The clock is your friend at this point. Every second that ticks off that is to Cape's advantage. Unlike in the NBA, where the clock stops immediately after a made field goal, in high school the clock continues. So Waynflete would have to score and then call a timeout to stop the clock. And maybe a couple extra seconds to tick off that clock like the last one.
Home field advantage.
Home cooking. All right, here's the reset. 14.7 seconds left. Cape Elizabeth 41, Waynflete 37. Dylan Swift at the line. Dylan Swift once made over 90 free throws out of 100 in the shoot-a-thon, so I like my odds here. And ice in his veins. 5-point game for the Capers. They're looking to get a 3 here. Isherwood comes off the screen. Rebound by Nathan Mullen. And Waynflete seemed to not want to foul, and then wanted to foul, and fouled the wrong guy, but you got to foul anyone at that point. Nathan Mullen will go to the line to pad his stats a little bit. He's up 5 here with 3.7 seconds to go. It's a good chance to remind everyone that we'll be on Tuesday, February 16th, this coming Tuesday, against Deering. We'll be on the air at 6:50 Tuesday, February 16th, as the Capers take on Class A Deering. Deering, a traditional powerhouse, coached by Todd Wing. Look forward to that matchup as Capers will go into that matchup with a 1-1 record after splitting the home and home with Waynflete. Kiefer with a 3-pointer at the buzzer. And if you had Waynflete getting 5 points, you made money, as he makes the 7-point game a 4-point game with that 3-pointer at the buzzer. So thanks everyone for joining in. And we had folks from all over the globe. Cape geography classes will be talking about this for generations to come as they pinpoint where Caper and Flyer fans were listening in and watching this game from. My thanks to Brian Lee, who is the guru of all things technical and laughs at my silly jokes. And we will virtually see everyone Tuesday, February 16th at 6:50 right here, Cape Elizabeth Capers versus the Deering High School Rams.